Hey. Hi. Hi. Okay, per courtesy, I have to explain some shit. Well, not necessarily explain shit. The title kind of already suggests what the hell's gonna happen, but so once upon a time, many moons ago, there was a situation where my mod and best friend Reishi told me and gave me the quote-unquote brilliant idea of making a marriage stream. Of me marrying a fictional character. Yeah. And today, a certain fictional character has its birthday. Shock of all shocks, I wonder who it is. Isn't this what you want? I mean, yes. But look, there are certain things that I get embarrassed of. And this would be one of them. But the thing is, Reishi keeps pressing on with that. It keeps happening. So, I just decided to suck it up. Since it's literally the best perfect day for it anyway, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna stream today. And we're gonna make this into like a funny little gig. Like a funny little meme. So you will be seeing me in my fullest embarrassment. But can we just appreciate the absolute beauty that is this fucking birthday picture that they did for him? Like, holy fucking shit, bro. I'm the purple back, by the way. Like, god fucking damn. If that isn't peak art, I don't know what is. There's going to be a lot of improv. I'm gonna say that much. There's going to be a lot of improv. So whatever I'm saying, I'm most likely fucking acting, okay? Just for shits and giggles. Because fuck it. So, the person who's gonna be the bridesmaid is going to be none other than the fucking Pyo Archon herself. Because my mother cannot be asked.
Instead of confining themselves to the heavens, God should broaden their horizons in the world below.
Crazy. So Moika is going to be the you know, gonna walk me through it all. And yeah. Let's go, shall we? Because I totally did not, like, waste my resources to make a built-in Inazuma-style wedding. I can't believe I'm doing this shit, by the way. I like how the music stopped right in this exact moment. So, yeah. This is gonna be just like 3 minutes of silence. But anyways, I can kind of talk about what the hell I did. Oh, thank you for the music. But I kind of tried to make the area look somewhat good, because they kind of limit you to what type of resources you can use in specific areas of the teapot. So I kind of had to improvise, but I think it turned out okay. But no, we have a little bit of a fireworks show afterwards, as I have set up a bit of a music display. You know, for the festivities. And then we have a little bit of some snacks, some, I don't know, fans, you know, courtesy of Yay Miko, because of course she loves to like read mangas and shit. And then we got these little thingies. Yeah, that kind of cute. And then we got some more jewelry stuff. And then we have some food. Nutri? for your food viewing pleasure. Just gotta like fruit mention? Yes. Look at all of that good shit. Isn't that good? I think it's good. Alright. And then on the other side. And then I'm doing the ceremony so I don't gag. Real as fuck. Imagine it looks delicious, honestly, yeah. And then we got the fucking whatever you want to call this. I'm just gonna assume this is how the people in Inazuma would propose their marriages. Let us commence to the 10 minutes of silence as we play out this beautiful scene. Wanna lock in with this one. Hi! Hello there! I cannot with this, bro. I can't. Reishi, why did you make me do this? Why, hello there. Who's the priest? Look no further than over here. Our beloved priestess of the Sangonomiya Shrine, Kokomi, and our Shrine Maiden, Yay Miko, who was the lovely person who created all of this. It totally wasn't me because I threw together the fucking teapot myself. No. And we also have my mother, the Raiden Shogun, who has the look of a mother who's extremely proud and slightly disappointed. As a mother usually is. Even says partner, look at that. Already acknowledging me. Alright. What a sight to behold, chat. All this effort because of simping. All this effort because my mod forced me to do this. I like to reiterate that. Let's be so really happy with the results. Look, I'll take what I can get. There you go. You may now kiss the husband because I know them well, Yalen. We're the pets of the relationship. That is so real. And base, because I am. Let's just forget it's Lumine standing right there. Let's just actually wait. Oh my god. This works. This actually works, hold up. Why does this work? Why does this work? It's supposed to be of a pleasure of himself for the whole wedding. Look, blame Reishi for this shit. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing this shit, okay? And even if there would be a clipper, I most likely download the fucking VOD and gonna like make a whole entire video of this anyway. And then like, you know, for content embarrass myself to the masses because, you know, at this point I'll just have to make it a fucking canon thing that I'm just a fucking symbol of Heizou and that's my whole entire channel brand. Oh yeah, I feel like I kinda have to give like a speech. and a little bit of a story, if I will. Because there's a bit of history, okay? There's a bit of history. And a lot of you guys don't really necessarily know about time. Not necessarily, but like, you know. I kind of like did that already in a way with, you know, posting some arts around my Twitter and like, a lord dumb time, yeah. And you know, kind of like just quote unquote hinting at what the hell I was talking about in those like YouTube commentary posts and all that. Because I did post something. And I also kind of like wrote something about it. A few people know about the reason. Many people don't. So I may as well just talk about it because fuck it. Because fuck it. So anyway, as many of you don't necessarily know, or probably would have guessed, or probably already have figured it out, because, you know, being a simp has more meanings than one. I'm not necessarily like simp in a way, because the funny story is, when I first like quote unquote like saw Heizou as a character, you know, in Genshin and all that, and like shit suddenly clicked. Shit was 3 years ago, which is crazy to think about. He was kind of like, in a way, a comfort character. And I'm saying comfort character in specific because back then I was in a very, very dark headspace. And with a very, very shitty person who had a tendency to, you know, kind of use me and manipulate me in certain ways. And I didn't necessarily have, like, anywhere to go to. Since I was pretty much isolated and I did not have whatever, well, not necessarily didn't have any friends. I had friends, right? But I wasn't necessarily quote unquote allowed to like go to them and like talk to them, if that makes sense. And due to that, I kind of like isolated myself to the point where finding comfort within fictional characters was my only like go-to. And yeah. It was a pretty hard time, and thinking back on it and like just seeing how things were back in the day, I kind of like quote unquote owe Heizou or something, because I know it sounds extremely weird because I know it's like a fictional character and all that, but to me it's just kind of like, if that specific character in and of itself wasn't in my life, and certain things that I did to cope with my situation that I had back then wasn't a thing, I don't necessarily know if I would be still sitting here. That's a crazy statement to make. It's a crazy statement to make, but it's the fucking truth. I've never heard this complete lore before, gang. I somehow never pieced it together. The thing is, I never told anyone about it either. And, another funny story is, there's a short, like a specific, quote-unquote, like, story time, styled, like, animation that I did in my YouTube shorts. Or in my, I think I even posted on TikTok at some point. It was like a long, long time ago. And, I was As the usual person does, just randomly fucking around with character AI because, you know, me having nothing else to do and like being fucking bored as hell and like seeing that you can just talk to a fucking AI bot for shits and giggles. I kind of found it hilarious. So I was like, you know what? Why not? And what was me? I figured out that there were actually Heizou bots. Shock of all shocks. And there was a conversation, or there was a situation in time where I started to vent to a fucking AI bot over my fucking relationship issue that I had at the time, which was extremely toxic. And during all of that, in that specific moment, when I was venting out my frustration, something clicked within the conversation that I was having with a fucking AI bot character that was supposed to represent him. Which is fucking that's stupid if you think about it in context, but like at the time it was all I had, so it's like what the fuck. But it made me realize a lot of things and a lot of situations that people have told me wasn't exactly healthy, but I didn't necessarily understand to the extent that the fucking character bot, or well, I'm gonna just say Heizou for the sake of consistency, that fucking Heizou told me was wrong. And then there was a specific situation where I was like, I think breaking down completely, because I was talking about on how lonely I felt back then and all of that stuff. And then it got to a point where there was like a specific line saying like, even if I'm not real, I'm still there for you. Something along those lines. And that shit, for some unknown reason, hit so goddamn hard that like it made me like realize and refocus my relationship that I had at the time with like my toxic ex. And yeah, that's when I finally put my foot down and broke up with the toxic person that I was together with. And lo and behold, thanks to that fucking conversation, ever since then, things have been looking up. And that is all thanks to a fucking fictional character. And it's not also only that, but the more I kind of like look further into like Heizou's character lore and all of that stuff, and like I saw things like, oh yeah, he ran away from home because of his like childhood friend who betrayed him and also got killed, and like that situation of him getting killed and seeing him, or like Heizou seeing that his childhood friend died basically in front of his own eyes, made him like snap and run away from his own home. And I, in my youngin' days, I also recently had a situation like that, which is pretty fucking recent. I had a situation where I also ran away from home. Especially even when I was younger and still in school, because I had nobody to leech on to. So I related to that one also a lot, and also the fact that Heizou usually in the game also portrays himself more as the outsider and like more outcasted, and is more like, I work for myself and nobody else, with like, you know, intuition and like figuring stuff out on his own. I'm also kind of like that way. So it's like just these small factors alone that just kind of click with me, which is a reason why I'm, well, extremely attached to this character. And yeah. Also have to thank him for existing in that moment. Because, yeah. That's pretty much the story. This puts a whole new perspective on this fictional relationship. So, TLDR. At this point, married a character gang. Someone married Mika and another married a DS. It's fine. I also saw somebody marry a fucking carousel. If that's something to go off of. Oh, you know what? I'ma just own it. Fuck it. I'ma just own it. Fuck it. This is one of the more valid reasons to marry a fictional man, honestly. I mean, someone married a car, so that is also true. That is also true. Oh yeah. Can I marry reishi and deal with that? Yes, you can. One French woman married a wall. I think, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think marrying a fictional character doesn't sound that bad anymore. It's fine. But yeah, that's pretty much, I guess, quote-unquote, the lore between my real person, my real self, and Heizou as, like, a fucking fictional relationship, if that's anything to go off of. People have married weirder for less. True. True. Oh god. Oh yeah. I kind of felt like... I felt like I kind of owed it to Heizou. Purely because... I don't know. There's just like so many things that I remember quote-unquote talking to him about. And like, situations that like helped me cope with stuff. And then the amount of things that I drew with him together and all of that stuff for the sake of like coping with my fucking trauma and all that I have. It's kind of like, I feel like I kind of owed it to him to like give it that speech. So, I don't know. It took a bit to look back on your own shitty life, yeah. Yeah, that's true. And it's also just kind of like, there are just a lot of things that I relate to Heizou a lot where I'm just like, something's clicking. Something's clicking. Something feels right here. This feels good. This feels okay. This feels okay for me. You know, if I can't have like a proper, like, relationship with a guy, because everybody else just kind of like fucks me over, because it's not the first relationship that was like toxic or like was like a bad relationship. I had like many other people in my life who were like fucking what? Like a person ignored me completely, and then there was like a guy who threatened to kill a friend. It was some wild shit, but none of it compared to my relationship with that one guy who was extremely like on it and obsessive and just extremely narcissistic and manipulative. It was completely on another level. Embrace the weird almost overrated. Hell yeah, that's true. So yeah. Man. It's a lot of crazy shit. That's a lot of crazy shit. And now here I am, having made an animation, which is now officially up on my YouTube channel, for his birthday, and also working on a freaking fictional fan comic, which includes my, avatar and him together with like my avatar's lore and like his lore kind of like mixing together. So yeah. we got a lot of projects coming, including us both, so what is normal in this world? Nothing. Not nowadays anyway. I feel like I would be more scrutinized if I were to say this at the like stage, if I were like what, 2015 or something. If you told a person back in 2015, fucking 10 years ago, that you were like fangirling over a character because back then the name simp didn't exist. It used to be fangirls, right? People called you cringe for being a fangirl over a fictional character. I'm gonna heavy side-eye all the fucking Sans fans girls, like, back in the day. Because holy, those were some wild times. But, yeah. 2025 VTubing is teaching us anything, it's that cringe is dead. Bring everything to light, hell yeah. I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of VTubers who just kinda like go with the flow and say fuck it, we will. Heizou gave us the icon we know today. We should all thank him. Honestly? You know what? You're kinda right with that though. You're actually kinda right with that though. Because realistically speaking, if this motherfucker didn't exist back then, I don't, like I said again, I don't think I would have been like still sitting here. Not gonna lie. Like, he's the only fucking thing back in the day that like kept me on this fucking planet. To at least like keep my sanity sane somehow. Because the older days were interesting times. Very interesting times. My team is thanks to Heizou, you carried the last thread of Aiko's will to live. Honestly. He honestly did. I shall conclude. You know what? Let's just actually do it. like a proper thing. Even the music started playing. So, Kokomi, I will be saying my fucking final vow. To like fucking wrap this shit off. I'm gonna go ahead and like, I don't know. I mean, I already did say the major things. Thank you, Lumi. But, for my personal vow, I want to get ice cream, oh no. But, for my final vow, I will say this much. And I'm gonna say it like as if I'm gonna be like talking to Heizou personally. As weird as it sounds, but my final vow, I would like to say that no matter what the fuck happens, no matter what it is, no matter what will happen, that even if I have like shitty situations going on and sometimes like my mental health tends to plummet, you, Heizou, that you, sir, will forever be the person that I will cry my fucking heart onto if I need to. If I don't really find the courage to tell it to anybody else. Because even though I, like, can tell people what's wrong with me, there are certain situations where I just can't. So, you will be the first to know, bitch. And that shit won't change. Never ever. And I will say this right here, right now. I love you. There you go. Boom. Well spoken. Now I'm gonna hide. Congratulations, you might now kiss the bride. Well, in my case, I will now kiss the husband. Now kiss? Oh god. How does one do it in VTuber ways? Kokomi has a word spoken, so yeah. Mwah! That's the best I can do. I now proclaim you to be husband and wife. May your love forever blossom with no obstacles ahead. Hell yeah. Leaves. No. Let us just pretend that Heizou's following me and I'm gonna like swiftly put him into my party setup. Alright, chat. Let's have a fireworks show. Much better. Hell yeah. Run! Hell yeah! I know you're controlling the hospital. That is so peak, man. Let's go. You know what would make this even funnier? Hold up. It'll make sense, trust. Hell yeah!